Doppelganger. Swanky mega hotels are not just for visitors and tourists to have a good rest and provide a home away from home. They also provide a common space for big group events like seminars, end-of-year parties, dinner and dance celebrations, corporate lunches, and wedding banquets, to name a few. Big ballrooms can host a graduation party on a scheduled night and quickly partitioned off and turned into a cozy private seminar for the following day. Of course, this will not be entirely possible without the presence of the faceless staff at the back working tirelessly round the clock to prepare, serve, and clean following the guidelines set by the management. The following is a story of Joe and Xavier on one of their crazy night shifts. The wedding banquet ended late into the night. The last few guests had trickled out, either euphorically happy about the wedding or because of the free flow of champagne. Staff had started to clear the ballroom before the last guests had stumbled off into the night. Linens stripped off the round tables, cutleries collected, chairs stacked, counted, and wheeled away. Eventually, the noisy atmosphere of the evening gave way to a quiet cleaning routine, interrupted only by the soft chatter of the midnight crew and the clinking of cutleries on the glass as they dried the washed utensils ready for storage or use the next day. Joe had arrived shortly before midnight. He joined the other staff who are on similar shifts to clear the ballroom and prepare it for a seminar the next day. He had just helped to stack the last of the banquet chairs onto a trolley, which would be used to push the chairs back to the storeroom. His supervisor, Ben, then requested him to get fresh wiping linens, as the ones they had were too damp for wiping the wine glasses. Joe nodded and started to push the last of the trolley of chairs to the back storeroom.
"Hey Joe, wait up! I want to go with you. I need to use the toilet anyway,"
says Xavier, his colleague. Both of them walked slowly to the storeroom and carefully lifted the chairs for storage. It was quiet as they worked in silence, grunting under the heavy weight of the chairs. As Joe closed the door behind him, he heard Xavier draw a sharp breath.
"Hey, what is it?"
he asked, turning to face Xavier behind him. Xavier just shook his head and rubbed the back of his neck. They walked along the dimly lit corridor and passed by the staff toilets.
"You go ahead,"
said Xavier, indicating towards the room where the linen closets are a few meters away.
I'll just be a minute."
He pushed the toilet door open and disappeared inside. Joe entered the room and grabbed the 10 linens for Ben, all the while feeling disturbed by Xavier's sharp gasp earlier. He was in and out of the room in no time and was closing the door behind him when he saw Xavier standing outside the toilet door.
"Hey Xavier, your business done? That was a quick one. Not even 1 minute."
He joked. Without answering, Xavier turned and continued down the corridor.
Hey friend, the ballroom is the other way.
Joe called out as he watched Xavier walk silently towards the opposite end of the corridor. Thinking that Xavier could not hear him, Joe ran to catch up with him, but the faster he walked, the faster it seemed Xavier's steps were taking him. It was dark at this part of the corridor, and Joe turned on his mobile phone flashlight to get a better view. He saw his friend turn a corner and disappear. When Joe turned that same corner, he came to a blank wall. His heart beating wildly, Joe turned back towards the dark corridor. At the other end, he saw the wild movement of another light, and then he heard Xavier's frantic voice.
Joe, is that you? Joe, can you hear me?
Without hesitating, Joe ran back along the corridor to where the linen room was and met Xavier, who was waving his phone flashlight wildly at him.
What are you doing back there all alone?
Xavier asked shakily. Joe could not answer him immediately.
We better get back right away.
He panted heavily. Together, both of them quickly made their way to the hall and gave the linens to Ben. They took their seats quietly at the round table, where three girls were sorting out cutleries in a box. When they saw Joe and Xavier, they excused themselves to go for their breaks.
So, you want to tell me what happened?
Asked Xavier as soon as the girls left the table.
Hey, why did you gasp when we were in the storeroom after we returned the chairs?
Joe countered Xavier's question with another of his own. Xavier's hand shook slightly, and he whispered,
I felt a breeze at the back of my neck, dude. There is no window. Where did the breeze come from?
Joe stopped wiping his glasses and stared at him.
I was scared at first, but since you'll only be at the linen room, I figured I could use the toilet with ease knowing that you're nearby.
Xavier continued. Joe drew an unsteady breath.
How long were you in there?
Quite some time. I drank a lot of water just now,
He explained.
After I grabbed the cloth, I saw you outside the toilet and you went the other way. I called you, but you ignored me. Then when I got to the other side, you disappeared. This is when I heard you calling, and I ran back.
They stared at each other, both not knowing what to say to the other. Torn between disbelief at what had just happened and the knowledge that they could never go to the back storeroom alone again, they turned to their task silently, each deep in their thoughts. What do you think? What could be that person that looked like Xavier? Was that something else? Was that his doppelganger?